My name is Amanda Berkebile, and I teach ninth grade social studies. And the mindset that I chose this year to work on is we can't teach dispositions, we must enculturate them.
Hi, my name is Megan Auer, and I teach 7th grade science and 8th grade math. The disposition that I'm looking at is learning happens at the point of challenge.
Hi, I'm Will Kneisel. I'm a special education and gifted teacher at Mandela International Magnet School. I chose this year Mindset 6, learning and thinking are as much a collective enterprise as they are an individual endeavor.
Hi, I'm William Newworth. I teach DP biology, 11th and 12th grade, as well as 9th grade physics and theory of knowledge, 11th and 12th grade. What I want to show you today is related to the disposition of learning and thinking begins at the point of challenge.
Hi, my name is Alex Vidal. I work at Mandela International Magnet School in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I currently teach 8th grade Spanish and 10th grade as well. One of the strategies that I have been working with my students is name it, describe it, and action. En español, it would be nombra, describe y acción.
Hola, I'm Senora Narvaez, and I teach beginning level Spanish to 7th graders. I'm focusing on a couple mindsets this year, but one of the mindsets is mindset 3, which is that to create a new story of learning, we need to change the role of the student and the teacher.
Every time you teach a thinking routine, how do you demonstrate how you do that kind of thinking? So one thing I've worked on is using sentence starters and trying to incorporate those at the beginning of the activity, and then giving students the time and the space to practice that again and again.
What I was challenging the kiddos to do is look at a case study and think through all the different stakeholders and what those stories that were obvious, what were the stories that were less obvious. And they worked in groups. And what I think is cool about this is everybody contributed. You can see the different handwriting. There's discussions happening. Nobody's answer was the same, which I think was where we were kind of going, that there's a lot of different perspectives. You need to think through all the different stories and try not to leave the stories out, to be more open-minded and not have bias when you're looking at these big ecology issues out in the world.
I wanted to create an environment where students feel comfortable, have fun, learn from each other, and are able to feel successful and knowledgeable by supporting other students in the group. Sometimes it seems that our world moves more towards educational technology programs where it's one student and a computer program. I think helpful to remind students that they could learn as much from the peers around them.
We, as teachers, I myself look at the individual challenge within the individual, the challenge to keep up with your peers in a good way. Each student has to find that point of learning, in this case, microscopic drawing, where they're blending art and science, close observation with accurate representation. So that's like that individual, I want to do this really well and make it beautiful, make it accurate. But then they're watching each other, and they know that their thinking will be made visible on a wall. And so there's also the challenge to do their best inside themselves, but also to sort of subtly, in a positive way, challenge each other to do their best work.
This activity is really giving the students the opportunity to make connections between what they see, what they think about it, and at the same time, using the writing skills to describe what is going on in a cultural celebration. So I have a couple of examples here where you can see El Día de los Muertos, Las Posadas y la Navidad, y un matrimonio o una boda in different Spanish-speaking countries. So students had the opportunity to gather information, think about it, put it into their own words, and use vocabulary, grammatical concepts that they are familiar with, and at the same time, start thinking about what is going on in the picture.
I decided instead of just giving my students all of the vocabulary that they need to learn for a unit, I would open it up to them. So we had a conversation about culture and different aspects of culture, And then in teams, they decided what aspect of culture they wanted to focus on. And in their teams, they decided what key concepts about that aspect they wanted to focus on and what vocabulary they would teach us. And they created a visual poster about that vocabulary and then presented the vocabulary to us. And I was surprised to see the variety of things they came up with that I would have never thought to teach them. We have posters on Halloween, quinceañeras, Catholicism, music and dance from Bolivia, traditional foods. In January, we'll start with just doing a scavenger hunt where they'll have to go around and find the information in teams on the posters. And I'm excited to keep bringing them back in as I see that they're relevant and bringing that vocabulary in. So it's really tied to what they wanted to learn and what they felt was important. So it's pretty exciting.